Hey everybody, the following is an excerpt from the monthly Rahdo Roundup, and if you'd like to see the rest of the roundup, you can hit that eye up in the top right corner of the screen, or if you'd like to know more about the game, you can follow the link down in the show notes. And with that out of the way, let's talk about
Race to Mars. Now, I had never heard about this, or I knew almost nothing about this game, but I had put it on my wish list because I kind of like some of the ideas I'd read about it. He reached out to me and said, hey, we were successful. Do you mind if I send you a copy so you can maybe give it? I'm like, okay, fine. But how good is it going to be? Folks, this almost made my top 10 of the year. This is, I think, like my number 13 highest ranked game of 2024. This game, I just went through an epic process of getting rid of half of my collection. Before I moved to Ireland, I had to get rid of 300 games. A bunch of games in my collection I got rid of. Games that I've had for years and I have loved, I got rid of because Race to Mars is better than all of them combined. This is one of the best race/deck building games I have ever played. In fact, I think I got rid of pretty much every racing game in my collection. I only kept one other one. It's because Race to Mars eclipses all other Euro-style race to cross a finish line Euro games I've ever played. Why? I should probably explain why, right? Because chances are you've never heard of this. This is the ultimate hidden gem of 2024. Nobody knows about this game. Nobody's heard about it from a small brand new publisher, developer, designer, and I think you can order it direct from him if you want. And folks, unfortunately, I have not done a run through for this, but I have done an exclusive video for backers of my show. If you go to Patreon, if you follow the link down in the show notes, you can go to patreon.com. You can subscribe for a month and watch this plus hundreds of other exclusive videos, or you can just buy it one time. But anyway, here is me and Jen playing a full run through. This was Jen's game of the month. It is my game of the month. Jen loves it so much. I mean, here it is right here at the top of my stack of cards, because Jen says, when we fly to Ireland and move, we are taking this in our carry-on luggage because Jen wants to have this to play it more when we arrive. She loves it that much, and I love it too. So I should probably tell you why I love it so much. Why does my phone keep beeping? I do not care about that. Okay. Here's the crux of it. This is a race. Let me go back to the beginning of this run because this is a full run through with me and Jen playing. So it starts out. First of all, everybody gets a unique player power for their space agency. You draw two and pick one, and all these space, and there's a bunch of them. So every time you play, you're going to get a really cool, unique power that's going to radically change how you play, make you stronger or weaker in certain things and stuff like that. So you start out with one of these agencies, and you start out with a rocket. The nose of your rocket to Mars, which has one power. It lets you draw two cards. This is a deck building race game, and it plays through two halves. For the first half of the game, you are building a rocket, which is to say playing more and more cards. Let me zoom up a little bit ahead, and you can see I've started to put some extra modules. And you can see Jen has not put any modules on her rocket yet. I put two modules on mine. These modules give you more powers, like being able to draw more cards, or store cards, or get experience points, or get like permanent cards. Let's see, if we jump further, after both Jen and I have taken off, you can see I ultimately made a size 4 rocket. Jen made a size 6 rocket. So she has more rocket powers than me. But here's the way the game works. At the first half of the game, you draw a number of cards equal to the number of players plus 1. Right? So in a 2-player game, like what I'm doing here, you draw 3 cards. I just did it. And in turn order, each player is going to take 1 card, and they can either take it as a crew, which means they get the power at the top of the card, or they can take it as a rocket module, which means they get the power from the bottom of the card and they tuck it into the rocket. Or they take it as a crew and means they add it to their deck of cards, because you're building a crew deck. This is a deck builder, but you're also building like a rocket that's going to be driven by the crew. The card that isn't taken, right, so Jen just took this, and it looks like she's going to take that as a crew card. It gives her 2 permanent hull resources that she needs, but only when she plays it, because it went into her crew. I'm going to take one of these cards. If I'm thinking about it, I could take these. If I take it as a rocket, it means I get to draw more cards. So my rocket becomes more powerful, but I haven't added to the crew. Now the card nobody took becomes a trajectory card that indicates what we have to move. It creates the racetrack for us. You can see Jen is the blue player. She's on this top racetrack. I'm on this bottom, or they're called trajectory tracks. And you can see I left this card. I didn't take this card because I'm on the bottom track, and I only added 3 more steps to my racetrack, while I added 4 to Jen's. So every card you draft has 3 functions. Do I want to take it as a crew to be a deck builder? Do I want to take it as a rocket? It's like a permanent card I've got at all times. Or do I not want to take it because it then extends the racetrack I've got to run? And if I built a crew that creates lots of fuel, I'm going to want to have lots of fuel steps. And in fact, that's what I did. The first 2 steps on my racetrack are fuel. And then this one I just added are 2 more fuel. So if I can get a ship that gives me a lot of fuel or a crew that gives me a lot of fuel, I'm going to be able to stream across this racetrack that much faster. And so for the first half of the game, you're building a deck, you're building a rocket, and you're building a racetrack all simultaneously. And that's freaking brilliant. I love it to pieces. It makes the draft for the first half of the game so great. But I say the first half. It's not quite as simple as that. Because basically, after, 12 rounds of drafting, and if I zoom a little bit further ahead, you'll see we're almost to the end. Okay, that's 12 rounds of drafting. You can see here's the first 6 racetracks, there's the second racetrack. At this point, Jen has, she's made a big crew, she's made a big ship. Me, in this particular game, as you can see, I only made a size 4 ship. That means I couldn't, even though our trajectory is plotted, I could not take off until I had a crew, a deck of cards, twice as big as my rocket. So I went with a small rocket, only 4 modules, which meant I only needed 8 crew members, which means I could take off after 12 rounds. I could take off immediately. Jen made herself a bigger rocket. She's more powerful, but her rocket of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 means she can't take off until she's recruited at least 12 crew members. So that is 18 rounds of drafting. So me, I get to take off after 12 rounds. She has to take off after 18. That means I get 6 extra turns of racing before Jen ever launches. And so you better believe I'm going to take advantage of that and race. But here's the problem. I got out of the gate faster. I'm like the rabbit. I'm like the hare. I took off like crazy. And I'm going to go fast. Jen, she's the tortoise. It takes her a longer time to get going, but she'll eventually get going. And when she does, she's got a more powerful rocket. She's got a more varied deck to build. And chances are she'll catch up. And because... here's the thing. The smaller a deck you have, hey, the faster you can go through. If you've got a strong engine to draw a lot of cards, you could draw most of your cards every turn. That's amazing. And get all this cool powers you need. But every time you go through your deck, because the second half of the game is the actual race, every time you go through your deck, you have to take an asteroid card that clogs your deck up and slows you down. And so that's the danger of having a fast, efficient deck is you're flying fast, you're taking more damage from space debris, and it's going to slow you down. And somebody who had a bigger deck, they can probably deal with that better. But it took them a lot longer to take off. And because it's a bigger deck, it was harder to create combos of cards inside your deck. And so, like I said, the first half of the game, but it's for one player, it might be the first half of the game. For the other player, it might be the first 2/3 of the game or the first 3/4 of the game. They might wait forever and build a gigantic rocket that can take care of everything and they don't worry about damage at all. But it took them forever. But now they can take off super fast and catch up because they've got such a powerful deck. And so you have the freedom to take off. And so it's asymmetric. One player's racing while the other player's still building, and who will make it to the end? Oh, it is glorious. This game is so good. And I haven't even talked about everything. Every time you play, in addition to everything I just said, there's a combination, because these cards in your deck are multi-use. If you're then playing and, I drew that fuel card, but right now I don't need the fuel card, well, I could store it for later if I've got storage modules, or I could discard it to get experience. And every time you play, there are going to be 3 cards out here that say you can spend 1, 2, 3, or 4 experience to get bonuses like wild card motion, or storage, or draw extra cards from your deck, or all kinds of things. So while you're playing, your cards are multi-use cards too. You either play them for their crew effect, or you discard them to get experience to unlock other bonuses. And every time you play, you're going to get a different combination of those experiences as well. Oh my gosh, this game is so good. Just even saying it out loud, why isn't this in my top 10 for 2024? Well, no, because my number 10 is Shipwrights of the North Sea Redux, and that I still like that one more than this. But like I said, folks, this is the best racing board game I have ever played. It allowed me to get rid of so many other ones from my collection. The only one I kept was Cubitos, and this is better than Cubitos. But I wanted to keep Cubitos because I wanted to push your luck game, and this is not a push your luck game at all. This game is freaking brilliant. And like I said, I've got a full run through on my Patreon page if you want to check it out. And in lieu of that, I don't think anybody else has covered it because nobody knows about this game. But everybody should. If more people had known about it, I guarantee you this would have made top 10 lists for 2024 like crazy. If you like racing games, or if you like the subject matter of, space race type stuff, you owe it to yourself to run to the publisher's page to check it out because it is amazeballs. It is the best game of the month of an amazing month of games. I cannot recommend highly enough my game of the month, Race to Mars.
And thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference, believe me. But with that out of the way, if you'd like to see some more, over on the left, you can find a playlist of a whole bunch more Rahdo Rapid reviews. Up in the top right, there's the latest thing that's been added to the channel. And in the bottom right, you've got something YouTube recommends. Okay, folks, thanks for watching.